let's get
It
into
doesn't
Let's
matter.
Get into it.
Yes. Secret house.
La maison secrète.
Booyah,
Yeah, we're out here in Tokyo. I want to thank. I want to thank everybody that's tuned into us. Over the year, we've been more consistent over the last month or two.
Yep.
Really trying to get albums out, and I think we're going to continue with this type of energy and consistency into the new year. We review albums, we talk about albums, we do a lot of things here in Tokyo as well. If you want to know about those, go check out some of the earlier videos. I think we get into it there. Nothing really needs to be said. But I'm Robinson Mega.
Jaxel.
Yeah, dude on the left, DJ L-Spade.
Yeah, and for this video, as the title suggests, our top 10s of the year. Now, for me, I made these my top 10s. They're my personal favorites. They're not me trying to get towards objectivity what are the best albums of the year. If I were to make that list, it would look very different than my list. Sure. Even if I was to just think about of the albums that I like, which are the 10 best, my list would look different as well. I have albums on here that I think I just love that are not like anything super special. It's playtime for it. There's a lot of factors for me.
Did you guys just pick hip hop tracks, or is this just your complete?
I did not just pick hip hop
10?
tracks.
Now,
It's
mine
my
is
top 10.
I kept it hip hop.
I kept
it hip hop.
All right, cool. I didn't understand the assignment. But,
Me either.
Yeah.
I thought, my top 10?
Because
I don't. Well, all right, I get into that later.
I got a mix of things, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, mine is hip hop. If it wasn't an all hip hop album, then maybe 5 of my albums would still be hip hop albums.
Sure.
Okay.
Easily 5 of my, maybe 6 of my albums would still be hip hop albums. There'd be a few that didn't make the list that go there. So should we start with our top 10s first, or albums that didn't make our top 10s?
Let's go through some honorable mentions first.
Okay.
Yeah. Spade, you want to get started?
I got plenty.
Yo, honorable mention, man. That Rob Zombie, Lunar Injection, Cool A, Eclipse Conspiracy. That album was dope. Rob Zombie, love you, man. Rob Zombie, man. Yo, one of the best metal guys ever do, and he actually directed House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the guy.
That Lil Durk and Lil Baby voices of the heroes. Yeah, like that, John. South all the way. And honorable mention, DJ L-Spade, L-Spadia 2. I didn't put it in my top 10 because that would have been. That would have
hated on you so hard for putting your own
bad
album
taste putting my own album there. But I'm just saying, guys, I didn't put it in there because I knew it'd be in bad taste. But just personally, I think my album can stand up to anybody's.
Check his album out. Give it a listen.
Hey, rock with it, man. You killing it with the numbers right now. I genuinely was surprised to see how many fucking numbers you have on it.
I ain't gonna lie, me too, man.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. Yeah, check it out. There's quite a few joints on there that I enjoy, and it's not even really my cup of tea or the type of albums that I go to, and I enjoyed it as well. So
mega honorable mentions.
The More Mother album, Black Encyclopedia of the Air, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, Sky Zoo, All the Brilliant Things, Injury Reserve, Boldy Jackson and Alchemist Bo Jackson, Just God Goku Jay-Z, Tyler Carl. I mean, there's I have several albums that would be in my top 20, but those are also 11 Ka Martyr's Reward would be 11 for me.
Okay, I know what my 11 would be too, but honorable mentions: Dean Blunt, Black Metal 2, Mark Hommy album, Balanced Shore. Just missed the top 10. Maybe it will.
It might grow.
Get in
it just
there.
came out.
It just came out. White People Killed Them. Self-titled.
What is that?
It is a project by the guitarist from Deerhoof.
Okay.
It's very experimental. I think it's improvised. Weird record.
Okay.
2 tracks.
The new Deerhoof is pretty good. I didn't really.
It's in
take
my
any notes.
list.
Yeah. Okay. The Deerhoofs are really good.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, LW, microtonal kind of Turkish influence, psych rock.
Yeah.
Mono Neon, Banana Peel on Capitol Hill, Sweet William, Beat Theme, Hiatus Coyote, Mood Valiant. Herbert Powell, Here in My Scheme, Here It Ends, alternative art rock band from Glasgow. Mind Design, Rare Pleasure.
Okay.
Lil Ugly Mane, Volcanic Bird Enemy, and The Voice Concern.
The Lil Ugly Mane is great. Actually, the
It is
song,
pretty dope.
what is it called? Headband? Is that the one song? That snapped me out of my depression a couple
Headboard.
months. Headboard. Yeah, it snapped me out of my depression a couple months ago. So shout out to Little Ugly Mane.
Oh, Alchemist, this thing of ours.
I wanted to put that, but I felt like I would include in my top 10 if I could use both of them. But it's only 4 tracks, so I mean, like, yeah.
Sure.
A lot of play from me. I like that one a lot.
All right. Top
All right.
tens. Who wants to go first?
So we're gonna do like 10, 9, 8, 7, 1 by 1
yeah,
with
we'll
a
do
little bit,
one by
a little bit about it, something on it.
2-3 sentences on each record,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay, I thought we were gonna do all 10.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
so-
mean, we'll go 10. I'll go 10, 9, 8, 7 on mine.
Okay.
And then you do yours,
Okay,
and you
cool.
do yours.
Sorry.
Sure.
Just a couple sentences about it, right? So, all right. Should I start, gentlemen?
Your
Let's go
house.
straight
You
into
mind?
it. 2021.
All right.
Secret
So-
House albums of the year.
There we go. Number 10, Rome Streetz and DJ Muggs, Death and the Magician. This is predominantly positioned on my list is the main kind of like drug rap joint. I genuinely enjoyed some of the kind of situations, stories that Rome talks about his upbringing and everything. He reminds me a little bit of Big L in his delivery and kind of energy. And DJ Muggs is one of the most underrated producers by casual fans. Like, people might recognize him from Cypress Hill, but he's been putting out incredible like street hip-hop albums. He dropped 6 projects this year. There's Ram LZ with Flea Lord, American Cheese, Hologram, some whack shit with Yellow Wolf, Crime Apple album. He's just prolific as fuck. So number
Shout out
10,
to Yellow Wolf.
Number 10, Rome Streetz and DJ Muggs. Number 9, Akai Solo, produced by Navy Blue, True Sky. This is kind of a surprising addition to my list for me. It was a sleeper. Like, I just found myself going back to a lot of the songs. It's a uniqueness to Akai Solo that I don't think Spade would really like because he's a non-rhymer, but you might like his kind of energy. People have surprised me before with him. Pray for Haiti, number 8, Mach Hommy. Man, I a lot of people like this album, so I don't really have to praise it too much. But there was this really good quote that I saw by this guy named Douglas Martin. He was writing about the spiritual reward of the classic rap album. And about this album, he says, through these labyrinths of language, reference, and precise rhymes patterns, the flag on his face serves as a reminder of the incubator for his particular talent, the heavy barbells in the rucksack of ancestral weight, the shadow of the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere cast upon him. And there's just something like really great about Mach Hommy. Pray for Haiti edged out Balance Show.
Balance Short. Yeah, I mean, if I had just picked rap albums for my top 10, both of those would have been a shoe-in for top 10.
Sure.
They were both excellent.
Yeah. I could have, reasonably pushed out that Rome Streetz album, but yeah, I didn't need to. I'm giving enough praise to Mach off this one album, but I really like Balance Show as well. Number 7, Zelooperz, Van Gogh's Left Ear. This album on my list is kind of there because I really enjoyed it, and the growth and development of artistry just genuinely impressed me from Zelooperz. His idiosyncratic rhyme style just draws me in. When we did the review, and check out the review, we had a lot of good things to say about the album. A lot of the songs that I really praised on the review didn't even end up being songs that I would later love. Like Blues. The song Blues has become one of my top 10 songs of the year. I've listened to it so many times, and it's just fucking great. So Zelooperz, number 7. Number 6, Rap Ferreria, Bob's Son. I think this is just a stronger, after thinking about it for a while, I think this is just a stronger album for me compared to the light-emitting Diamond Cutter Scriptures. And it's just by virtue of it being a little bit more self-aware and towards like expressing actual like this is poetry, and also towards like this spiritual harmony. His song Listening is probably my most listened to song of the year behind a JpegMAFIA track and a Mike track, and it's kind of been my mantra. So check out Bob's Son. Number 5, Aesop Rock, Garbology. No surprise, I've essentially like Aesop Rock. I'm wearing an Aesop Rock shirt now that's older than maybe some of our listeners. I got this in 2002 or 2003. He's been one of my favorites forever, and I like this album just because it's just him rapping funny and interesting. And he reconnected with Blockhead. I like the beats. I just found it to be a really fun listen and really enjoyable listen. Number 4, this is my dark horse choice. It is Deem Spencer, Deem's Tape. I didn't even think that this would really make my list when I reviewed it, but I found that I've listened to this album a lot. He's like a dusty Frank Ocean. I just really, really like it. My Spotify numbers really indicated that I played this a lot. And he just creates such a vibe. I love it. Number 3, Armand Hammer. Haram. The greatness of this album has just kind of been further punctuated by people who I like, having great and discerning taste. I've read articles about how some of the themes and the denseness, and collectively it just amounts to like a layered narrative, consciously assembled piece by piece in order to provoke the listener with thought-provoking radical ideas. And that was a quote. And of course I love Alchemist. And if you don't like this album, argue with me. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Alchemist has had an amazing year this year.
Every year is
Every year's
amazing
been,
for
okay,
Alchemist.
fair enough.
To be honest with you, I think Alchemist does no wrong, and he perfectly straddles the mainstream and underground in a way that no other producer does, even Madlib.
Sure.
Fuck you if you don't rock with that.
Can I say something real
argue
quick?
with me. Argue with me.
Armand Hammer, man, if you go back and look at the review I did for that, I was kind of shooting off. After further review,
I thought so.
Hey man, let me make my penance, man. God. After further review, I was kind of shooting off a little bit on that. I can admit when I was wrong, guys. I was kind of wrong on that album. It has come to grown on me. I've listened to it a few times. I'm like, I was shooting off when I said it was word salad. So to any Armand Hammer fans who may have took offense to that, you had a right to. I apologize to you. Sorry, just had to say that.
Shouts out to Billy Woods and Lucid.
Yeah, I mean, it's dense. I put an article in the group chat that was talking about a lot of the Marxist themes and in the leftist themes, and I think both of those guys, actually all of those guys, but specifically Lucid and Billy Woods, I think they're some of the greatest writers that are happening right now, and I think their mystique and what they're doing for music is super important. I fuck with them tremendously. Number 2, JpegMAFIA LP. Offline version exclusively. The online version I don't think would make my top 10, but Jesus, this album is just so catchy for me. Last night I came home drunk singing it. My wife hates me before that, but man, Peggy is just so dynamic and interesting, and the fact that this is all an in-house thing of him just producing, putting it together, writing it, the variety, I would bet that you'll hear some of these things that Peggy is doing on his album on Kanye's album years from now. And I think that just like Peggy is just such an iconoclast and a once-in-a-generation artist. I really fuck with him, and I hope his mental health is doing good because his Twitter is reckless sometimes. But fucking Peggy, I love the album. Like, if you guys knows, every time I plug in my phone, it automatically plays the last song I was playing. Yeah. Hazard Duty Pay.
Like
is
three
fucking
times,
crazy. Yeah, I love it. And number 1, for people that know me, my friends, easily Mike Disco. This album is just got so much play for me. I think a lot of people might not rock with his kind of like monotone, deep baritone voice, but like the assonance he used, some of the production choices, I really, really enjoy it. Tailwind, fucking, yeah, just so many songs on this. Evil Eye is actually our most, I did a song reaction review on this channel, and Evil Eye from the album, before the album dropped, is still our most viewed video.
And neither Spade or I are in that video.
Yeah.
It's but you with A Valley and
I wanted it's A Valley, Buddha, and MJ.
Shouts out to those dudes.
Shout out to the Bridge, MC Buddha, and all the homies, man. Yeah, you guys, if you know me from Mega Late Show, then yeah, they be on there all the time. That's my cousin and my people. But yeah, Mike number 1, JPEG number 2. Yeah, that's it for me.
Spade.
Oh, I was gonna be last, man. I'm still. Go ahead, man.
Are you still getting your thoughts together?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll get into it. Oh man, even you just listing stuff off, like, you know, the Mike, the Armand Hammer. I didn't mention those in my honorable mentions, and they're not in my top 10 list, although they easily could have
Haram's
been.
not in your top 10.
I did not include it. I didn't listen to it enough for it to make my top 10. It's an album that I hold pretty dear to my heart. I like the album a lot, but it's kind of a difficult album to just sit down and listen to for me.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's that, I always call it like the Schindler's List phenomenon.
Yeah.
Where it's like, nobody comes home from work and goes, I'm going to watch Schindler's List.
There's only one song on that album that I go back to that is like something that doesn't put me in like a immediately pull me into the kind of energy of the album.
Right. And that's not a mark against the album, and certainly not a mark against Schindler's List either. I think, you know, those are both brilliant works. But yeah, it's not one that's easy to just like sit down and go back to. And as a result, I have not taken in all of the details and depth of that album. And that's why I think I find it difficult to include it in my top 10, because there's a lot that's gone over my head because I haven't listened to it enough times and like sat down and studied the lyrics. So number 10 on that note, Rap Ferreria, the light emitting diamond cutter scriptures.
That made the cut, huh?
That made the cut. And a part of it is because Rory was really cool about us reviewing it.
Hey, shout out to Rory. Thank you.
Shout out to Rory. If I could, before we move on from that, we've had 3 artists that we've reviewed.
Zelooperz, Swindle, Rory.
Yeah. Yo, appreciate that. I imagine it'll happen more, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dead ass.
Yeah. Again, like you were saying, I mean, there are certain things about Bob's Son I like more. I think poetically, it's a little better realized. I think there's just generally the consistency of the writing is better across Bob's Son. But as a set of tracks, I do prefer light emitting diamond cut scriptures. I think, you know, I mean, there's a lot more drums in that record for a start. But it's something I can nod my head to, and also it's something I can listen to with headphones and think about. And Rap Ferreira, as an MC, or as a writer, as a poet, just goes from strength to strength for me. I think he's constantly, you know, developing and growing. And he's someone who manages to be pretentious in the exact way I like.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can go on about like how I feel about him.
Sorry, we said 1 or 2 sentences in each one. I'm still on number 10.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead. I took a long time with mine.
I'm not surprised though.
All right, first of my non-hip hop submissions. Number 9, The Armed, ULTRAPOP. The Armed are like an anonymous metal group. I guess we could call them metal, although what they're doing really doesn't sound like any metal being released at the moment. It is loud, it is bombastic, but it is also joyful, it is experimental, it's dirty and like dusty, and no one really knows who or what The Armed are. Like if you look at their promo pictures, it's clearly like a bunch of models, and it seems to be different people in each picture. It is
like Sia,
probably... We know that Sia Furler is a real person. She's an Australian lady. She was also very, very prevalent in the like early 2000s and 90s. If you're a fan of,
song.
If you're a fan of like 07, then like you know Sia. Obviously now as a pop artist, she's doing the whole anonymous thing. But yeah, with The Armed, we don't really know who the deal is. It's probably Kurt Ballou from the band Converge, but we don't know. Yeah, wicked album. Check it out. Listen to the track All Futures. It's quite unlike anything being made at the moment.
Yeah, I'm adding it to the playlist now.
Number 8, Deerhoof, Actually You Can. This one came out pretty recently. I've only listened to it a few times, but it's already like up there for me. It is peak Deerhoof. It's really bizarre. Nobody sounds like them. It's one of their most interesting albums musically in terms of the level of musicianship going on. You know, John's doing all kinds of crazy shit on there. Ed's drumming Greg's drumming on there is excellent. Satomi is taking it into weird places lyrically. Just generally, there's a ton going on. The song Plant Thief is definitely it would be in my top 3 songs of the year.
Is that right?
From the album.
I didn't give that a lot of play, but I'm a big Deerhoof fan. In fact, the only place that I've ever DJ'd and played Deerhoof is like your old stomping ground, Harry's.
Yeah.
I played it there, and of course, like the Japanese girls were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "This is amazing. Just pay attention to this."
Put y'all up on something.
Yeah.
Number 7, SMTK, Siren Propaganda. SMTK are a 4-piece group. Each letter is a member of the band. S is Shun Ishiwaka, Japanese jazz drummer. I don't know the rest of the group.
Friend of the show.
Too well, friend of the show. It's a great mix of like experimental hip hop. You've got Dos Monos featuring in different capacities on all 3 tracks. Titans on one track, Botsu's on another track. All 3 of them are on the first track of the album.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
We live in Japan. He's the only one put Japanese stuff in his top 10. Wow.
I just didn't give that Dos Monos joint enough listens.
Dos Monos' second season would have also made the honorable mentions. Like I didn't like Lardarillo as much as Dos Siki Part 2, but you know, dope group doing weird shit, being independent, experimental. really interesting to hear such a proficient hip hop group that were not into hip hop initially. You know, I don't remember. Maybe Titan had like his first exposure to hip hop was like listening to Jay Dilla as an adult,
Right.
which sounds incredible. And as someone who like grew up listening to a ton of music and grew up listening to hip hop, that's like a really interesting idea to me.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like being an adult and hearing hip hop
Right,
for the first time, being like, yo.
They're like busy listening to Frank Zappa and, you know.
And yeah, it's like it's hip hop Frank Zappa,
Yeah.
and
It very much is, yeah.
and the SMTK album is very much more of that. Very well executed, some excellent
It's
musicianship
an amazing
on
album.
there. Number 6, Swindle, The New World.
Ooh,
Had
good pick.
to include some UK stuff on there. One of 2 UK albums that made my list. I'm sure Spade is going to have all kinds of wonderful words to say about that album
Yes.
shortly. But
Check our review of it. It's really good.
check out our review of it. Shouts out to Swindle, also one of the artists that showed us some love, and also had a brief chat with Spade about it, because Spade's little screed is the wrong word, because he's extremely positive. He's gushing about the album. Probably has more to
Swindle
say than
cut a part of the video and reshared it. I was like, did you make this, Jet? Did you share it? And then
I was like,
Swindle
nope.
saw it. But he cut a part of the video, like high quality video of it, and reshared it. So shout out to Swindle, man.
And yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of great musicians on it. And in what has been a pretty dark year for the world, it's this ray of light. It's a really joyful, uplifting album full of some really talented British artists. And I think the world is a better place for having this record. I'll let Spade spit about that one a little bit later, I assume.
Yeah.
I imagine it's on
Good
the top
assumption.
10.
It's a good assumption.
Number 5, Injury Reserve. By the time I get to Phoenix, R.I.P. Stepper J. Goghs. Like the SMTK, this is some really experimental, out there, strange, but also well-crafted rap music. I use the word rap music quite loosely because it's not an easily genre-definable piece of art.
It is not at all.
Some great. I love the sampling on there. I love the use of certain like British artists show up on there. You got Black Country New Road on there. You got Black Midi on there. Number 1. And you'll it's not an easy listen, but there's just a ton going on, and also surrounded by the tragedy of Goghs' death, definitely gives the album a certain mystique to it. And we check out a review of
It
that.
actually grew on me more since our review. I like it more than what I expressed on the review, which I was generous, I thought, on the review.
Sure,
But
yep.
but I actually like that album a lot more.
Check out the review. Number 4, this one's a bit of a wild card and not one I expect anybody to have heard either here in this room or listening. Ichiko Hashimoto, View. Ichiko Hashimoto is a pianist, composer from Japan who has been doing this for decades now. She used to do some new wave kind of stuff. This new album, View, is like a jazz, piano, experimental, electronic joint. And it has some of the most kind of tender, gentle, considered composition. There's some covers on there as well. There's like a cover of Blackbird by the Beatles on there, but it completely inverts it, turns it into this very soft and quite uncomfortable listen. But it's like a beautiful glass sculpture, and it feels like if you were to touch it, it would just
I'll check it out.
turn to dust.
Sounds intriguing. I'll
at your
definitely check that one
your
out.
touch. Number 3, Chai, Wink. Chai are like a 4-piece
You
girl
just put me onto them last week.
girl pop group from Nagoya. They make what is like unapologetically pop, but at the same time not easily definable. It's bright, it's upbeat, but it also deals with some real topics that you don't really hear people talking about. There's a track on there about like having moles and scars and just things that are very like normal and mundane, and yet I think it does go beyond being just this very kind of like, oh, you're beautiful in spite of your imperfections kind of cliches. There's just a lot going on, and it's amazing considering I don't think any of these girls speak English very well, but their use of kind of the imagery that they paint, The production is great. You know, these are real musicians, but putting a twist on something that is, you know, when we think J-pop, we think like, you know, very cute, loud, upbeat kind of music, and very generic and kind of manufactured by the numbers, by committee design music. And Chai turns that entirely on its head. Really fascinating group, and this is my favorite of their releases yet. It's their deepest and most interesting.
Yeah,
and
I've listened to a few tracks off of it since you introduced me last week or the week before, and it's really good. It's not usually my lane, but it's actually really, really good.
I also think I mean I probably wouldn't have put it so high, but then when I checked my like Apple replay, you know, most listened of the year, Chai was like 6th on my most listened artists, and I was like, oh, I listened to it that much, like, and it's like going back and listening to the album, looking over the album, it's like, oh yeah, I know every word of that album. I just, when I'm going to work, I'll listen to the Chai. I'm coming home, I'll listen to the Chai. Lying in bed, chilling out, I'll listen to the Chai. Really, really easy, really fun listen, but also interesting and strange. Number 2, JpegMAFIA LP offline version exclusively. Although the online version is dope too, but it is not the version of the album that you need to listen to. Don't worry about the online version. Listen to EP and EP2, and then listen to the offline version. You get everything you would have gotten from the online version. You go listen to the offline version. What else is there to say? You've seen our review. You've heard everything Mega's said. Iconoclast, outsider, visionary, genius, going to be imitated decades from now, ahead of its time, looks back to the past and years ahead of its time at the same time. Absolute masterwork. It is JpegMAFIA's best yet.
It's astonishing how good it is.
He just does everything, and he does everything with a sense, you know, with this fierce independence, completely just in his own lane, just ahead of the pack,
and politically left-leaning. Fucking, I don't know if he's a Marxist, but I definitely know he's a communist.
Yeah, just listen to the record. And number 1, Black Midi Cavalcade. Black Midi.
I saw that coming.
Almost as if I said number 1 when I mentioned Black Midi during the injury reserve.
I mean, I knew it before that.
Yeah, way before that. I saw that coming. Yeah,
I know you a little bit.
Weird ass British alternative rock music by a bunch of 12-year-old geniuses. They're not really 12-year-olds, but yeah, that was like my first exposure to them, and I think most of the world's exposure to this band is they did a KEXP set somewhere in like Iceland, and like Pitchfork commented on it like, the first thing that's very apparent when you see Black Midi is that they're all about 12 years old, and the second thing is that their drummer is an absolute legend. And Morgan Simpson's drumming is absolutely excellent on there. But just generally, compared to their first album, they've kicked up the level of musicianship phenomenally well. You know, people always joke about like post-avant jazzcore as like this kind of bullshit genre. But Black Midi might have actually...
also the name of the next EP that Tierra Whack releases.
Right. But Black Midi might have actually made a post-avant jazzcore album. It is extremely, you know, it's avant-garde rock, but it's very jazzy, it's very educated. It's absolutely not for everyone. I know a lot of people that hated this record, but I can't stop listening to it, and I'm very, very proud that like 4 guys from my hood could come out with something this weird and this good and this well executed at
Shout out to the British hood.
At such a young age as well. You know, these guys... They're in their early 20s, and they're world class, absolutely world class. Black Midi Cavalcade, that's my album of the year.
Yeah, they're getting all the deserved recognition that they should. They're huge in music circles, and people that know about music are quite enthusiastic about how dope Black Midi is. Now that said, I imagine by the time we do our like mid-year review, we can get like an all hip hop album list for you on the mid-year review of 2022.
I mean, Sky Zoo, All the Brilliant Things.
I don't
Sweet
need
William
to,
Beat Theme. Dos Monos Dos Siki Second Season. Chris Crack Might Delete Later.
Another wonderful album I didn't mention, I don't think.
Rap Ferreria, Injury Reserve. Mind Design, Rare Pleasure. Does that count as a hip hop album? That's kind of a jazz record, I guess.
I feel like we can count Mind Design.
JpegMAFIA LP could have easily been my number 1 of the year. It would have been if we'd just done hip hop. Yeah,
that's
the
actually
Chris Crack.
really strong.
You want to check out the Chris Crack?
The Chris Crack is actually pretty good.
I
wanted
like
to
that one
review
a
that
lot.
on the channel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But we'll get to it more. Let's go into L-Spades now. What are we at right now? How long? We've been talking for a long time. I don't know if the best method was for us to talk. Maybe we should just listen. Send me your tens
in the description.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how to do that. I just fucking.
Yeah.
But
We'll figure it out.
what I'll do is like send me your list and I'll put it in the show notes in the notes so you can see it. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I make mine quick, guys, because these guys took all the air. So
Yeah. No. Take your time. Go off.
All right,
I'd
so-
like to hear your thoughts.
Real quick though, I misunderstood the assignment too. I didn't do all hip hop. I actually just went in here and added some more hip hop albums. But number 10 for me, I battled between. And look, before we get started, a lot of people always ask, what is L-Spade's taste in music? And I'm just gonna be honest, dog. If you look at my Spotify, it's all over the damn place. You might see some Johnny Cash, some Black Jack. Then over here you may see some Prince. It's everywhere. Like literally. For the last month, I've been listening to a lot of at least Regina because I've been playing a lot of MPB on the drums. Yes, I play drums. So I listen to a lot of stuff. And plus, I dig deep in the crates to try to sample stuff. So you're about to get an in-depth look at what I listen to. So number 10 was actually a battle between Adele's 30 and Halsey, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power.
Halsey?
Yeah, and Jasmine Sullivan's Hotels. And because all three of them women can sing their asses off. Like, legit can sing. The Adele album is kind of sad, depressing, and generic, but objectively, man, she got them pipes.
Shouts out to South London again. Right?
Yeah, I
Is she
really...
South? Or she might be from North London. Shouts out to London anyway.
I'm leaning towards Adele on this one. Either Adele or Jasmine Sullivan, because both of them just like humming. Jasmine got that soul. She ain't like the best singer, like vocally, but like the soul is there. But I think I'm going to give 10 to Adele. Why? Because she can sing her ass off. And singers are very, very rare these days. Like, we've really discredited real singing.
You know who she went to school with?
No, who?
Black Midi.
Oh, there it goes. Connections. Number 9, Zelooperz, Van Gogh Left Ear. Man, the whole album was dope, bro. If you can hit me with a unique sounding voice that jumps all over the place, bro, I'm sold. Like, Van Gogh's Left Ear was some of the most innovative ish I've heard all year, bro. Like, the way he bends his voice, it's almost like he's an effect in himself, bro. And you can't get bored listening to Zelooperz. He also had some damn good features this year too, man. That song Weird Flex song wasn't good until Zelooperz came in there. I'm like, every feature I've heard Zelooperz on this year has been dope.
He had one of my favorite verses on the Smoke Break album with fucking Concept Jackson and Pink Sifu. His verse on that.
Yeah, he was on Pink Sifu album too, right? Shifu album, yeah. Like, man, Zelooperz, shout out to you, man. You had a damn good year. Like, yeah, you made a fan. Where am I at? Number 7. It's kind of cheesy. It came out 2020 November, and a lot of y'all gonna look at me like, I know this was just like St. John. While the world was burning, I just like St. John, bro. I like him. Sucks to be you.
I haven't listened to him much,
bro. I just like St. John, bro. Like, I'm kind of stepping on my whole argument by saying like singing has been discredited, but like I just like St. John, bro.
I like bad singing. What would be considered not good singing.
This is not good at all, but it's like he owns the not good singing, and it works. Where I'm at 10, 6. Wiki, Half God. That album was hard, bro. Like, the only thing I didn't like about Wiki Half God was I felt like
Earl Sweatshirt verse. Don't hate. Earl is so fucking hard on
great
He got the best verse on that
feature.
album to me. I know you don't like Earl, but Earl's dropping an album next month. We have to review.
It's his top 10. It's his top 10.
You see how everybody took off? Hey!
No, I really thought you were going to be like, the worst thing about the album is Earl Sweatshirt.
I wasn't. The worst thing about the album, like, the album plays hard. I just thought it could have used some drums, but that's like Navy Blues type thing, bro. Like, Navy Blue produced most of this album, and Navy Blues beats to me are kind of hit or miss, to be honest. But like Wiki's bars are undeniable. Like, when you listen to it, you can't help but just love the lyrical wordplay. So, Wiki, shout out to you, dude. You get them doo-doo grimy bars on there, man. It's like that Half God album, dope. The next one, number 5. kind of a cheesy one too because it came out in 2018, but it got re-released this year. It's the Dropout
Illegal.
Kings.
That's illegal.
But it got re-released.
I mean, so did the Navy Blue shit reprised, but I mean, that's illegal.
Go to jail.
I mean, technically, it's a release this year.
Okay, all right.
So the Dropout Kings Glitch Gang album, love it, bruh. Whoo, that junk is like.
I don't know them.
Oh man, listen to Dropout Kings. They're in the same vein of the Rage Against the Machine, who've now become the Machine. So
Tom, maybe.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. Like, listen to.
He got new NFT art.
NFTs, yeah.
Letting them go, Tom. Tom, you are the Machine.
I refuse to hit on him just yet. I'll wait.
He's there though.
Sure, he's out.
But yo, Dropout Kings, like literally in the same vein. It's a lot of metal rock. Like the guitars are slapping, all the distortion in the guitars, like just really like hits me. Like it's a mix between live drums and programmed drums too, with turntables and some guitars. If you can rap yelling, keep my attention, I'm there. I'm there. Next, number 4. Y'all gonna hate me. Russ, Chomp 2.
Didn't listen to it.
No, I'm not gonna
would
listen
not
to it.
listen to it.
I know. Look, man, Russ be rapping his ass off, man. He gets a bad. I'll leave it at that. Russ Chomp 2. Listen to it if you want to. Don't.
I'm sure he's good at what he does.
Where am I at? 4?
Yes.
3.
Oh, 3?
3?
That was 4 just now, right?
Oh, okay. Well then 3 then. Mach Hommy, Ball and Cho. I actually went back and listened to the Pray for Haiti. I like Ball and Cho better. Like way better. I thought it wasn't even a competition.
I go back and forth. At the moment I would say Balancho edges it out for me.
Really?
You didn't like Stove God singing
Like that's
on
my favorite of the two for now.
Sign my name on the
but
cocaine right now.
Yeah,
They're different for good reasons though.
It's not a bad album
Well,
though.
they're
Pray
good
for
for different
Haiti is
reasons.
good. It's a good album, but like Pray for Haiti was kind of more flashy type.
Definitely.
I was just like, how is this about Haiti? Really? It was a whole lot
well,
of
it's like a play on Pray for Paris.
Paris, yeah.
Paris,
But
yeah.
I mean, I didn't get like any reference to it. It's more like, I don't know, the flashy bars, the look at me bars didn't really do it
wasn't-
for me.
Yeah. Especially considering around the time it came out,
Yeah.
like almost 300 people died from an earthquake.
Yeah,
in
it's
Haiti.
just not like, I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Didn't really do it for me. The Ball and Show was a lot better. Number 2, Aesop Rock and Blockhead Garbology, man. Yo, dude.
hard.
The album is, man, I challenge you to listen to this album and not be moved, bro. Like, the bars are so damn solid. Like, I would take what Jet said. It is a whole guitar solo. But who don't like guitar solos, Jet? Like, that was some of the dumbest ish ever. It's like a guitar solo. That's the part you wait on. The solos. Like, yo, it's literally somebody who has the ultimate wordplay genius. Like, a lot of people talk about, oh, Eminem wordplay is good, which it is. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But Aesop Rock wraps circles around Eminem.
I've
If you don't believe me,
saying
fight
this
me.
for years. Aesop Rock has been one of the top 10 greatest MCs on the planet for the last 20 years.
If you don't believe it,
I'm surprised to see something so underground and left field at number 2 on your list.
I kind of was too. I didn't
Really?
think he would like the Aesop album, to be honest with you.
I don't even consider that underground. But I mean,
it
that's
very
just me.
much is.
Well, you know,
Very much
hey,
is.
there you go, guys.
I mean, there's a tradition element to it anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, I
isn't
mean,
it?
bro, Garbology goes hard, guys. Like,
You're right.
it's in there. Like, it's so easy for Aesop to get in the pocket, man, when it comes to these bars, bro. And the beats on this album match the flow so damn well. And the production, though, from Blockhead, the drums are fat. It's clean while being dirty, bro. Everything about this album is what rap should
Listen
be.
to a lot of Aesop Rock, or was that your first?
No.
album?
I listen. Seriously, I wouldn't consider myself like a diehard fan.
Okay,
I listened to him, but like when I heard this album, I'm like, oh my god, this is the one.
because
And-
he's always rapped this
Yes,
well.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree, but like maybe it was like the absence. No, he wasn't there. He had an album out
Last
earlier.
year.
Yeah, last year. But
Yeah,
this
Spirit
And
one,
the
Feels
year
bad.
before. And
I
the year
felt like
before. Yeah.
the production met the lyrics well on this one, and that could have been a function of getting back with Blockhead,
sure.
and both of them being raised at the same time and doing stuff at the same time, and actually knowing how each other
They've
fits.
known each other for the best part of
that
30
could
years.
have
Yeah.
the chemistry could have been like what did it for me on this
That's
album.
kind of why I enjoy it. I acknowledge the things that Jet had in his critique of it. It's a lot less substance than some of his more recent albums, starting at Skeleton, but it's just fun to me.
I
just
should.
like it for
I
that.
feel like even in the review, I mean, maybe I didn't come across too well in the review, but I do like that album. I didn't love that album, but I did like it.
I don't think that you had a really negative critique.
I don't think so either.
I thought you had a very fair critique, and it's not as good, like technically, in my opinion, as like the Impossible Kid. That's his high watermark to me, and even I think it's different.
I like Skeleton more. I like Spirit World more. But no, I thought it was dope. I thought it was a dope album.
For this year, number 2 for me.
It was just fun.
What?
And number 1.
Numero uno.
Hey, that damn Swindle New World, man. Yo,
okay. In your darker style,
bruh. Like, I tell anybody, yo, this was the best album I've heard all damn year. It was like a history lesson wrapped up into everything, all the influences, the last instrumentation. He had some people who can damn near sing. The production is solid. There's not one weak spot on the production. Went back and looked at the videos. Visually, everything plays well. It's done high quality. And yo, once again, goosebumps, like dead ass, getting goosebumps thinking about it, man. I've had this journal repeat, man. It's just one of those things that you can do anything to. You can work out to it. You can sleep to it, man. You can bang to it. That's right. I got a couple plays in there. Maybe I'm getting too personal, but yeah, Swindle. Make the backboard creak a little bit.
UK.
Yeah. Like, yo, and honestly,
Big up Croydon.
To put this album out, I feel like, and I think I said this before, it's everything the Kanye West album I thought should be. Like, everything people praise Kanye West about being, oh, he's so innovative, he's a genius, his production is so great, he's always
That's how I feel about the
forward-thinking.
JPEG.
About the JpegMAFIA.
That's how I feel about the JPEG.
I think both of them, even though the JpegMAFIA and the Swindle album sound nothing alike, other than both having like soulful elements to them, that they're very, very different records. But both Swindle and JpegMAFIA are guys who are very, very good at a lot of things, and also guys
the highest level of things.
At the highest level of things, and also guys who are doing their thing and not just like trying to fit into anyone's lane or any kind of particular
the meshes
pocket
of genres he uses is so damn
I would say
impeccable, bro. Like, oh my god, the way he meshes up the genres and makes everything goes together, it's genius.
Where
nothing
they
less than genius.
Differ is that I think JpegMAFIA has this very DIY, homemade. He's like a
Not
self-taught.
Swindle.
He's a self-taught master, whereas Swindle is a musician's musician.
I also want to say that when I say that, that's what I don't mean actually what Kanye is capable of, but I mean what people project his greatness to be.
Sure.
I don't think that he would even get close to a Swindle level of musicality unless he's got John Bryan producing everything for him. And I don't think that he's got it in him in his age and his riches to even get as close to something as grimy or DIY or interesting as a JPEG.
Yeah,
personally, I don't like Kanye's music all that much.
Well, Swindle is a type of guy that later on somebody's gonna bite off him and be like, yeah, man, all you people who never heard Swindle are gonna be like, man, this is something original.
There's plenty of UK guys who are biting Swindle. Don't worry.
The thing about the Swindle that's different than the JPEG in that regard is that you can kind of parrot your way into a JpegMAFIA sound.
You can't with
being
Swindle.
just a producer. But with Swindle, there's such a high level of musicality, you can't fake that funk.
No, you cannot.
I mean, like, even if you pull like fucking guitar stems from here and drum stems from here, trying to put them together with the chord progressions, you can't parrot a Swindle the same way you could parrot a JPEG.
I was talking to you earlier about like me being a producer, how I think I can make any beat. Like when I hear something, I'm like, man, I can make a beat like that. I can do that. Not with Swindle. Like dead ass, I'm not even like playing. I can't do a Swindle. Like literally Swindle. If you taking like Patawans, think about taking DJ L-Spade, man. I would train.
You gonna grab the little braid?
Yes, I would get the little braid and everything, man.
Yeah, man.
I would earn my lightsaber.
Wearing the
dead
robes.
ass,
You
man.
know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could be Samuel L. Jackson, man. Hell.
Interesting list, all of us. That's one of the things I like about getting us all together is because I know we all have very distinct takes on music and different ways of appreciating music. And I think as we roll into the new year, it's just going to be even doper, man. Like, well, we can try to hit it more often and start that Patreon.
Yeah, man. Start begging for that money.
Yeah. Tap dance a little bit. What was there any album? Excuse me. Was there any albums this year that kind of disappointed you guys?
Yes.
Kanye West, Donda. Totally disappointed me.
I wasn't expecting anything great from him.
You know what? I ain't gonna say I was expecting anything great, but when I listened to it, I was just like, bro, are you trying?
You know what album disappointed me a lot? and it snapped into my mind immediately. The Isaiah Rashad. I loved Isaiah Rashad's shit in the past. Sun's Tirade, Sylvia Demo, and he had this hiatus after having some substance abuse problems. But I like when I heard it, it just was kind of mid to me, and it was one of the albums that I was really excited for and wanted to hear, and I just didn't. There was no real joy that came from me listening to the album at all, and nothing even that would like hit that certain temperament that he's in that makes me want to listen to this kind of molasses, slow Southern tradition that he kind of always, that's such a part of him. It was really disappointing to me. Not that it was a bad album, but I was disappointed more with the fact that I didn't feel anything from it.
Well, I listen to a lot of more conventional rap than you guys. So once again, the Kanye West and the Drake album, both of those jumps were disappointing to me.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Super disappointing. Like, what are we doing? Like, why is the world like this? Like, please do better.
I was disappointed in a lot of the COVID takes on vaccines from some of my favorite artists.
I mean, I get it because that's all that was going on, but
yeah.
It's like, can we talk about something different?
Homeboy Sandman, like, come on, bruh.
Stuck in the house with these parts.
Yeah.
In terms of hip hop, nothing's coming to mind right now. There's some rock records and stuff here and there. I didn't like there was Tropical Fuck Storm from Australia. They put out a record that it was cool. I loved the album they put out before, Brain Drops. This one it was fine. Didn't love the Pink Sifu. I feel like I gave that like a 7.
I didn't like
or
that.
something. Gumbo. I thought it was cool, but like he's definitely someone that I feel like there is a potential classic in the works from Pink Sifu. Like just because he's,
I liked his collaborative album with Concept Jackson more than I like Gumbo. Smoke Break.
One of my favorite punk bands, Tsushimamide from Japan, all women punk band. They're friends of mine, and people I genuinely quite idolize in terms of their fierce independent spirit. They released an album this year of like drinking songs, and maybe just not being Japanese and not being that into alcohol really did nothing for me. I'm just looking over.
I got another one I was disappointed in. Muggs and Flea Lord, they had an album called Ram LZ, who was one of my favorite people in the history of history, and I just didn't like it. And I feel like if you title an album Ram LZ, it better be like fucking Ram LZ, like completely
you can't be like
wild and individual, like just the most amazing person. So it was a good album, but come on, man, like Ram LZ.
Super What by Sawface and MF Doom.
That's that I didn't even remember to write that on my list of what's probably 50 albums listed here. Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like a cash grab, like using Doom or anything like that, but it something about it just didn't sit well with me.
It kind of did feel like a cash grab.
I mentioned it in my.
I mean, they announced it before he was passing that it
but
was
he passed before we knew it, though. It's kind of like they set it up, like, yo, get this money real quick.
I don't know if because I feel like I might have even mentioned it in my honorable mentions, and yet I'm still gonna say it was kind of disappointing to me. Was the Hiatus Coyote album?
Oh sure. There's some really dope moments on it.
The album's got some great moments on it. I think my biggest problem with it is just that it's a little overly sentimental. There's so many moments on the album where Napalm's just going and it's
that's not melisma.
Like, is that good singing though?
That is not melisma. Like I said, melisma, it is not.
And I think she's a great singer. I think she's a phenomenal songwriter. I find her story to be really inspirational. I think she's an incredible person. I like the album, but after Choose Your Weapon, I was, and it was released on Brain Feeder as well, right? I was like, oh my God, like Hiatus Coyote comeback album released on Brain Feeder. Like this is going to be absolutely incredible and change my life. And yeah, it was kind of like, this is pretty good. Yeah, this is good. They're only human, ultimately.
Right. You know, one thing that I was surprised about your list, Spade, the Tyler wasn't on there.
You know what? It was an honorable mention, and I cut it out because that wiki was better than to me.
You right.
Sure.
You're right. Yeah, I'm not gonna
like, it was almost like the
Tyler's
Tyler.
Good.
It was a good album, and I almost put it on there along with like Lil Baby and Lil Durk's album too, South. But overall, the project of Wiki was better than both of those to me. So I was just like, I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. And I would have made that 10, but I felt like I need to put a singer on there, give a singer props, and you know.
Yeah, you could have kept that Adele.
She's singing the ass off, bro. Like the album,
I'm just
depressing
kidding.
and slow.
I just don't listen.
But
to
real quick,
Adele.
shout out to
But you're right. It's probably
the
good.
albums I helped produce this year, man. I didn't put y'all on there because I thought it'd be bad in bad taste for me to put albums I
I would have thought it was a little bit in bad taste
so
too.
but shout out to K
Don't
Ryder,
pat your
your
back.
album,
Yeah.
All This and More. Shout out to James Payne Lethal, your album that I produced, and shout out to 120, your album I helped
Shouts
produce.
out to James Payne Lethal on your album as well. Like he's definitely MVP on that record for me. He
7-4.
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Side.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, I really appreciate
Yo,
that.
what is the before we get out of here because it's a long ass video? What's the over under on Kendrick releasing an album next year? Do you think we get a Kendrick album next
Yes, definitely.
year? Yeah.
I say no later than March.
You think it's going to drop
First quarter. Yes, has to.
I think
When
he's
historically, when
looking-
has he dropped before? He's not a December. He is.
Yes.
He's a winter drop.
Mhm.
Like he's
I think first quarter. I think it should
Okay.
have dropped now. It has to be done. The album has to be done.
You
We
think
thought he
he's
was going to
waiting
drop
for
this
touring?
year. Yeah.
I think he's waiting to do a big world tour with it.
I don't,
Because
Reasonable.
but it's impossible now because once again, Omicron is out here. So I think first quarter. I think they've been sitting on it, waiting on it. It's done. It has to be done. But you're going to run the risk of just sitting on too much. It's going to be stale.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to put it out first quarter.
I mean,
think.
he's been quiet. The anticipation is there. He was like on the Baby Keem album,
Keem,
which
yeah.
I didn't like.
Not good album.
we should have stuck together and reviewed that because I had a lot of negative things to say.
Yeah, I didn't like the album either.
But
Some of the tracks are fun.
yeah, I we've got to have a Kendrick album. It's been too long. People want it. People really, really want it. It's been, how long has it been since Damn? That was 2018.
18.
It's been 4 years, right? 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And he hasn't released. He hasn't been like actively releasing. Something's got to be coming, and it's got to be good.
First quarter has to.
I'll go with it. Fine. I'll go with like early summer release then.
I'm gonna stick to the December. I think we'll get I do believe we'll get one, but I think it's gonna be last quarter.
A year from now. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Next
see.
year, basically.
We'll see how well this ages.
Thank you all for listening to us. Secret House Against the World videos frequently.
When we feel like it.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
hit the bell icon to get notifications.
What are some of your
about the new
favorites for
shit.
the year?
Yeah,
Yes.
let us know what you think about the list. Let us know albums that are coming out that we should review. Yeah, hip us to all the dope shit too.
Yes, on Patreon, I'm going to do albums I shot off about, and I was wrong about on Patreon.
Spade
We'll
apologizes.
try to
Patreon
get, let's try to
series.
get the Patreon up and running by the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, make some money off of all this time and effort. Farewell.
Fuck the all right.
Oh, the music ended right there. Il Sugi.